This is Prodigal Breaking News.
Tonight, stop listening to the changing excuse, because the excuse keeps moving. First, it was the nuclear threat. Then it was missiles. Then it was preemption. Then it was protecting Israel. Then it was defending the region. Then it was restoring deterrence. Now, without saying it too plainly, the language is drifting toward reshaping Iran itself. And when the reason changes every day, that usually means the public is being managed, not informed. Reuters has reported that the White House's stated objectives have shifted since the war began on February 28th. So what is this war really about? It is about overlapping interests hiding behind a single headline. It is about Israeli security doctrine trying to permanently break the Iranian threat network. It is about American power trying to prove that Washington still gets to set the terms in a world that is no longer truly unipolar. It is about Gulf monarchies wanting protection, but not wanting to become the battlefield. It is about Europe fearing an oil shock, shipping disruption, migration spillover, and another regional collapse that ricochets back into its own politics. It is about defense spending, weapons resupply, and the business of permanent militarization. And yes, it is also about ideology. Because whenever theology, nationalism, and empire start breathing in the same room, restraint usually dies first. Reuters has reported on Europe's fear that the war may not end quickly, on Iran's strategy of endurance and energy disruption, and on the central role of Hormuz in the conflict's economic pressure campaign. Now let's go deeper. This war is teaching a brutal lesson to every smaller country on Earth. If you cannot deter a stronger power, your sovereignty may be conditional. That is the message being heard in capitals everywhere, whether anyone says it out loud or not. And that message will not make the world safer. It will push more states to seek missiles, hedging strategies, harder alliances, civil nuclear infrastructure, and in some cases, nuclear latency. Reuters reported recently that the Trump administration is pursuing a Saudi civil nuclear deal without the traditional U.S. non-proliferation guardrails, which is exactly the kind of move that can intensify regional proliferation fears. Then there is the technology layer. Every major war now doubles as a laboratory for surveillance, targeting, AI-assisted analysis, digital control, and information management. That does not mean tech caused the war. It means war expands the market and the legitimacy of the security tech state. And once that system is normalized abroad, it rarely stays abroad. The same logic used to track enemies, suppress leaks, manage speech, flag dissent, and prioritize strategic narratives overseas always finds its way back home. That is one of the most important parts of this moment. This war is not only being fought with bombs, it is being fought through infrastructure, algorithms, censorship pressure, and control of what populations are allowed to see. The video you sent makes that one of its core themes, warning that war abroad quickly becomes censorship and persecution at home. Then there is the religious layer. This needs to be said carefully because too many people talk recklessly here. There are absolutely nationalist religious currents in and around Israeli politics focused on the Temple Mount and maximalist visions of Jewish sovereignty there. Reuters has reported on far-right Israeli political pressure around the Al-Aqsa compound. There are also major Christian Zionist currents in American politics that frame Israel in explicitly theological terms, and church leaders in the Holy Land have publicly criticized Christian Zionism as a damaging ideology. But the cleanest and most credible argument is not the official war aim is rebuilding Solomon's temple. The cleanest argument is this: religious apocalyptic and nationalist currents help create a political climate where escalation becomes emotionally easier to justify. Compromise becomes spiritually suspect, and war gets wrapped in civilizational language instead of honest strategic language. That matters, because once leaders start talking like history itself is on their side, ordinary people become expendable. And then there is the deepest layer of all. This war may be one battlefield in a much larger struggle over the next world order. The transcript you sent opens with exactly that question. Who makes the rules now? In a world where Washington no longer has uncontested supremacy and China is a peer competitor. That framing is analysis, not settled fact, but it is a serious one. If the old order is cracking, wars like this become demonstrations of power, credibility, and reach. So no, this is not just about one strike package. It is not just about one press briefing. It is not just about one enemy state. This is what it looks like when empire, petropower, surveillance, ideology, deterrence, and propaganda all collide at once. And because all of those interests are fighting for control of the story, the public keeps getting a moving explanation instead of the truth. The truth is uglier. The truth is that too many factions see something to gain from crisis. Some want dominance. Some want strategic advantage. Some want oil routes secured. Some want military budgets expanded. Some want prophecy validated. Some want dissent managed. Some simply cannot imagine a world built on balance, mutual survival, and empathy, because a world like that would require them to give up control. So here we are, in the second week of war, listening to a rotating set of official reasons while the underlying machinery keeps grinding forward. And that is why this story matters, because this may not only be the story of Iran, it may be the story of what kind of world is being built on the other side of this war. This is Prodigal Breaking News. I'm Don Jackson. Stay awake, because when the reason keeps changing, the real agenda is usually somewhere underneath it.